Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. If you haven't watched the East version, go watch that first, but this is the West version. We're going to be talking about the recent signings, free agency signings, re-signings, contract extensions over the past week. 1 week ago was free agency day, so there's been a lot of traffic. There's been a lot of things that have happened. So let's talk about the West here. I've got my Vancouver. Look at this. This is a brilliant
Outstanding.
I love this logo. I'm supporting the Western Vancouver Canucks here for this video. Okay, so number one, let's talk about Michael Stone. I'm going to do this in chronological order. Michael Stone, 27, 3 years, $3.5 million per year by Calgary. So this is a re-signing. I'm okay with this contract. Yep. It's maybe a little bit much money. I was thinking maybe $3 million, but still okay with this. And I forgot to mention, I did this in the last video, but we're going to discuss each contract a little bit, maybe thumbs up or a thumbs down at the very least, but we'll try and say something about each person. Are you okay with that one?
Definitely, yeah. I'm okay with that.
Moving on, Sam Gagner, he's 27, and he just signed a 3-year, $3.15 million contract with the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver is going through a bit of a transitional phase right now. The Sedins are on their way out, and over the next couple of years, you've got some young talent emerging like Bo Horvat. I think a player like Sam Gagner, who is only 27, does have some experience. I think it's a pretty great addition for Vancouver, and at $3.15 million, pretty respectable contract as well.
Yep.
Are you okay with this one too?
Yep. Yeah. Good centerman.
Yep.
50 points last year, played all games but one in the regular season. I would love to have Sam Gagner in my team if I was running a team. So Vancouver, good pickup.
Yeah,
and good for him too.
If you're a Vancouver fan, thumbs up.
Yeah, well done.
Moving on, Steve Mason. He's 29. He just signed a 2-year, $4.1 million contract with the Winnipeg Jets. I don't know how I feel about this one. I like Steve Mason, but for $4.1 million, I'm going to have to give this one a thumbs down. I really thought that he might get 3 at the most. He's had some struggles. He's a very good goalie, but he's just had some struggles. He's not consistent. So Winnipeg, I think you overpaid a little bit. I'm glad it's only 2 years, but maybe we'll watch this experiment happen and see where it goes. But
yeah, Winnipeg's biggest challenge was in goal, and they needed, I think, a big savior to solve that challenge. I'm not sure Mason is that savior.
I completely agree.
Yeah, 2.66 goals against average, pretty steady numbers. He's not in a an arc or a decline in his career. He's a pretty steady guy. He played 55, 54 games last year. But I don't think he's the savior.
No, I don't think so either. Okay, Jonathan Bernier. He's 28. He just signed a 1-year, $2.75 million contract with the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado had a tough year last year. I think I'm okay with this deal. Bernier's been inconsistent. I thought last year he played great with Anaheim. He had a great stretch of games where he was just lights out. I'm okay with this for Colorado. I think maybe they overpaid a little bit. I would have liked to see low 2s, but
yeah, he's a goalie that's getting better. Actually, at the age of 28, he's improving. His numbers last year were better than his career average so far. So he continues to refine himself, I guess. And I'm fairly okay with the signing. Like you, if it's a backup, you're looking at $1.5 million to $2 million. If it's a starter, you're looking at 5 to 10. Depending on the savior quota that you're after. So I don't know where he fits there.
He's probably just happy not to be in that spotlight in Toronto anymore. So yeah, Colorado's probably a good spot for him.
Yeah, and LA last year I think was good. He had
Anaheim
last year.
I think so. Yeah.
I thought he was in with the Kings, but
no, Anaheim.
Okay, then I will not say what I was about to say. My internet information is wrong. Thank you, ESPN, you dorks. All right. I don't watch the West, so I didn't know it was wrong when I first saw it.
That's great. No problem. Okay. Patrick Sharp, he's 35. He just signed a 1-year, $1 million contract with the Chicago Blackhawks. And correct me if I'm wrong, he was making $5 million last year with Dallas, or close to it.
I don't know.
So Patrick Sharp, he just had surgery, or he's going to have surgery. I don't know exactly, but he has had some injury issues. But still, $1 million for Patrick Sharp. I think he took a huge discount there to go back to Chicago.
I think he did. He's had a great career with Chicago in the past. He played there from 2005 to 2015, so that's 11 years, I guess, altogether. That's great, and I think it's a good pickup if he gets healthy.
Yeah.
I think it's a good pickup and good for both sides.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Tommy Wingles. He's 29 and 1 year, and I actually don't have the contract value written down here. It wasn't listed online, so maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it just hasn't been released yet, but he was signed by Chicago. I'm a big Wingles fan. I am a San Jose fan, and when Wingles played for San Jose, he was one of the players I always watched. So I'm definitely okay with this, him going to Chicago, but I can't really say good or bad without knowing the value of the contract. But I wanted to mention it regardless because I do like him. All right, Michael Cammalleri. This guy's been around the league a little bit too. He's 35 and 1 year, $1 million contract from the LA Kings. So he will be in the Western Conference this year. And again, one of those kind of experiment contracts. $1 million, so it's not really a risk, but if it works out, the production for $1 million could be great. But if it flops, it's a risk, but not at the same time. It's so low value that it's probably okay. So from the LA standpoint, I'm okay with this contract. From the Michael Cammalleri point, I'm probably okay with this too. Hopefully he fits in there, but I think he's a good player. He just had a hard past couple of years, I think.
Mike Cammalleri, I know when he was with Montreal, and of course it's all about Montreal with me, his regular season wasn't outstanding, or seasons rather, weren't outstanding, but he really came up in the playoffs, And I think he was like that when he was with Calgary as well, prior to coming to Montreal. He's been around. He's like a shorter version of Dominic Moore.
Yeah.
I think it's a good deal. He's on pace to do about a 40-point season. He had about a point every second game in the last season. He didn't play every game, but he was not a big liability. And I think he can bring a lot to a team. He's got some leadership, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah, he was bought out by New Jersey, which is unfortunate. But okay, moving on. Michael Del Zotto, he's 27, a 2-year, $3 million contract by Vancouver. This one actually disappoints me a little bit. I think Del Zotto has declined the past couple of years, and I think $3 million is probably a little bit too rich.
Oh, yeah.
I would have liked to see maybe a 1-year, $1.5 or $2 million contract just to test the waters in Vancouver a little bit. But, it could work out, so I don't hate it. But
Yeah. Vancouver made a real good deal a minute ago, and I don't think this was a real good deal at all.
I'm glad we're in agreement.
Great for Del Zotto, but yeah, $3 million for 18 points a season is no.
Yeah, he was when he first came in the league, he was great, but it's a bit of a decline there.
Yeah, he's a defenseman, so you don't expect him to be a huge sniper or anything like that. But when you I just
All right, moving on. Nick Bonino, he's 29, just won a Stanley Cup with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's been signed by the Nashville Predators for 4 years, $4.1 million per year. This seems pretty expensive for me. I would think he would be in the $2.5-3 million range per year, but he does have experience, and Nashville needs that playoff experience if they want to go back to that big dance. So I understand the value, but for 4 years, I have to give a big thumbs down on this this deal. I would have liked to see 2 years, $3 million, but what do I know? I'm sitting in a basement filming videos on YouTube. So
we're not running a team. I think it's bad, but it's not outrageously bad. He does bring something to the rink.
He's a very good player.
He is. Now, I will always have burned in my mind, the diving, the fake injury, and all that. And I actually could never associate myself with that. Like he should be playing soccer, maybe. I don't know.
How do you feel about PK Subban then?
Well, same way.
Yeah.
When it comes to that stuff, the hot dogging and the feigning the big injury and then you skate away with a laugh. I think that does not belong in the game, and I agree. Just hammer that. Yeah. Okay,
Martin Jones with the contract extension. He's 27. So San Jose extended him 6 years, $5.5 million. I'm actually pretty okay with this. I really do like Jones. The term is a bit longer. I would have liked to see maybe 4 years, but I think the price is right. Martin Jones is a great goalie. Even though he had a bit of a tough playoff run last year, he bled in some questionable goals late in that series against Edmonton. But you know what? I'm okay with this. So thumbs up San Jose for me.
Yep. If he's your starter, that's about the range you'd want to be paying a starter. If you think he's worth it, good for you.
Yep. Okay, moving on. Mark-Edward Vlasic, a.k.a. Pickles, as they call him. He's 30, and they just signed him to an 8-year, $7 million contract. So, thumbs up for Martin Jones for San Jose, and a thumbs down for this contract for San Jose from me. 8 years, it means he's going to be getting paid $7 million at 38 years old. He's a brilliant defenseman, one of my favorite defensemen in the National Hockey League, but 8 years at $7 million is too much for in my personal opinion. I would have liked to see him get paid maybe 6 for 4 or 5 years. I think 8's too much, but I wish him luck.
Yeah, good luck to him. He must have thought he died and gone to heaven, I think, when they slid that across the table at him.
Yeah, it'll never get better for Pickles.
No, that's good.
All right, moving on to Cam Fowler, one of my favorite defensemen in the West. He plays for Anaheim. He's 25. And he was just offered and accepted an 8-year, $6.5 million per year contract. I am much more happy about this because Cam Fowler's 25 plus 8's 33. $6.5 million per year is respectable for his output. I think he's a brilliant defenseman. Thumbs up Anaheim for this contract for me.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. It's a lot of money, but he's worth a lot of money, so I'm good with that.
Ryan Miller.
Yeah.
He's been around the block as well. He's 36, and he just signed a 2-year contract with Anaheim for $2 million per year. I don't know how many games he's going to get to play this year. He's kind of in that situation where how often do you want to play him? He was a starter all his life. Now he's in the transition to kind of backup role, and I mean, I'm glad he's still in the game. He's still a very good goalie, but I would have liked to see a 1-year experimental contract there instead of a 2-year. 2 years a little bit too long for me. I would have liked to see 1 year.
Yeah, he's 36. His numbers were a little higher last year than he had been, doing prior to that. But he was playing in Vancouver,
right?
So you have to take a team responsibility for some of that. That's the high end of what I'd pay a backup, $2 million. I think it's good for him.
Yep.
I think he'll maybe flourish a little better in Anaheim than he did in Vancouver.
I think so too.
So I'm I wish him all the best. I think it's probably a pretty fair deal for both sides.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Scott Hartnell. He's 35. Another player who's been around a little bit, and he was offered a 1-year, $1 million deal by Nashville. I think this is a pretty good pickup. I'm actually not a fan of Scott Hartnell at all. No. However, what he brings to the table for $1 million, I think that's a pretty good deal for Nashville. And I think he probably took a little bit of a discount because he saw what Nashville did this year and what they could potentially do next year. So Scott Hartnell wants a cup, and he's going to Nashville for that reason. Yeah,
and he's going to work hard for that cup.
He's going to work very hard.
Yeah. He's probably going to be the hardest working $1 million player that they ever got.
He's 35, so he's his career's coming to an end here pretty soon.
Yeah.
But
and all the times, for all the years I've been watching hockey and cheering for my team, I always hated Scott Hartnell when he was on the opposing team.
He's an agitator.
Which means he's a great player.
Yeah.
You have to give him respect for that. I don't like his game, but that part of the game is needed, in places. I just hate to be on the other end of it. That's all.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right, moving on to the second page, starting off with Martin Hanzal. He's 30, and he just signed a 3-year, $4.75 million contract with the Dallas Stars. Thumbs down right away. Martin Hanzal, I think, is overrated. 3 years is a bit too much. I would have liked to see a 2-year deal or 1-year deal just as an experiment because you just don't know with the guy. And 4.75 is a bit much for me. I would have maybe offered him 3. You need to, I don't know. 4.75 is a lot. So, sorry, Dallas, I got to give this one a thumbs down.
He's one of those centers that's good in the offensive side, but he's risky in the defensive side. Yeah. He's on the ice for a lot of goals against. I have overpaid written on my notes, when I did some research on this, and I agree with you.
When we were talking before, we were comparing him to Brian Boyle.
Oh,
Similar age, much better contract from Boyle.
Yeah.
And similar production as well. So New Jersey, kind of way better contract.
Way better.
Based on numbers and age and production versus Dallas with Hanzal. So
absolutely. Not even close.
Sorry, thumbs down.
Yeah.
All right, Joe Thornton. He's 38, and he just signed a 1-year, $8 million contract with the San Jose Sharks. Paying a guy $8 million when he's 38 years old is a lot of money. I'm a big San Jose fan, and I like Joe Thornton, but $8 million,
ooh.
He just, he had some injury issues last year. He's going to be recovering a bit over the summer. I have to give this one a thumbs down. I probably would have given him 6 at the most. 8 seems really hefty. Yeah. And I read that he was willing to take less if Marleau signed back with the San Jose Sharks.
Oh, is that
so
right? Oh,
he was willing to take less, but I guess San Jose offered him more. I don't know. But anyways, sorry, I got to give it a thumbs down. Just a little bit too much money for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Alexander Radulov, one of the biggest signings. He's 31, and Dallas signed him to a 5-year, $6.25 million per year contract. Apparently, after Dallas made him the offer and he accepted, Montreal also offered him the same amount of money, same term and everything. They just didn't talk about the structure of the contract, and it was too late. He already accepted in Dallas. But Dallas is going out on a bit of a risk, on a limb here, and taking a risk. 5 years, he's going to put him at 36, making $6.25 million. Radulov had an amazing year last year.
I loved what he did last year.
He was such a
fantastic.
hard worker.
Yeah.
He was so involved with the rest of the team and spreading positivity and cheering on the guys and getting guys pumped up. Great teammate.
Yeah.
Whether he can replicate that in Dallas, hopefully he can, but he's had an inconsistent career up until this point. Hopefully, based on last year, if he can do that for the next 5 years, man, Dallas is going to be a scary team. I think, just in general, Dallas is going to be... I'm really excited to watch Dallas next year. But are you okay with this signing?
I'm okay with it. I don't know if Montreal, if they wanted to pay him that much money, they should have offered it to him earlier and given him a chance to take it, to try to match an offer from Dallas later if that's how it went down.
Yep.
That's half-hearted, really, and that's unfortunate because I would have loved to have seen him stay in Montreal. Now, the local media in Montreal was talking certainly not 5, maybe 3 or 4 at the most. $5-6 million would have been a really good fit, and I would have been all over that.
Yep.
That's a little pricey, and it's a little long for a guy who had one great year.
Yeah.
After a lot of question marks.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I don't know if that's good luck to him. I wish him all the best. Because I think he's a sweet man.
Yeah.
And he does amazing things for a hockey team.
Agreed.
So good luck to Dallas.
Moving on to Nail Yakupov. Fail for Nail. He's 23, 1 year, $875,000, and Colorado gave him that contract. Even though I'm not a big fan of Nail Yakupov, I actually really love this contract. He is in that position where he's struggled so much. He wants to stay in the NHL, and Colorado's taking a risk on him, paying him less than $1 million. It's probably not going to work out just based on this past couple of years, but it's less than $1 million. They can risk it, and especially with Colorado, they've got some cap room. So I'm actually okay with this contract.
I am too. All those scouts saw something,
Yeah.
and maybe that something is still there and just has to be drawn out.
He's 23.
He's 23 years old.
He has so much time to mature and to rediscover his game.
And when other people in his draft year are now signing, multi-million-dollar contracts, they're getting him for essentially entry-level money.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a great attempt. It's a great experiment for him. I hope it works out for him and for them.
I hope so too, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the biggest name in the past week, Connor McDavid.
Connor McJesus, as they call him.
Connor McJesus, yes. I don't know if we're going to make a separate video about this or just talk about it now, but we'll see. So, Connor McDavid, 20. What do I really have to say about Connor McDavid? Everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows how great he is. He just signed an 8-year, $12.5 million contract with the Edmonton Oilers. So he's going to be 28 when this contract runs out. That's a pretty good age to re-up for your next contract.
Is it ever? And some predictions are saying that, by the time this contract is over, he may have 1,000 points on the board by then. Just looking at his production and his ability, if he puts up 100 points a season, based on what he's already done in the last couple of years. And that first year he had, an injury. And
he was out for half the season.
Yeah, so this is, I like it. I'm an ordinary human being. I think you are too, because you're my son. I don't understand that kind of money. It's just a big foggy cloud for me. I don't understand it. So when we talk about that kind of money, it just makes me crazy. And for him,
he's 20 years old.
He's a kid. I think we should have a more in-depth conversation about that.
I think so too. Yeah. There's a lot of people who think that he was overpaid. There's a lot of people are okay with the contract. We'll save the majority of that discussion for maybe its own video or a podcast or something. But I will say that when Sidney Crosby signed his contract, his $8.7 per year contract, however many years ago, that salary was 15% of the cap at the time for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay.
12.5 for Connor McDavid is 16.6%
There you go.
of the cap for the Edmonton Oilers right now. So if you look at the number, 12.5 is daunting. But when you look at it in the comparison to the cap situation, I mean, if you look at Sidney Crosby now, what he gives you for $8.7 million, that's a brilliant contract.
And considering the potential cap growth over that period,
Exactly.
In year 8, if he's doing what he's doing now,
Exactly.
he'll be a deal.
And he's going to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll have a more in-depth conversation another time. Last on the list is Jussi Jokinen. 1 year, $1.1 million contract from the Edmonton Oilers. And again, one of these experiment contracts. Jokinen's been around for a while. He's 34. He offers some pretty good experience for a young team in Edmonton, a team that's trending up, a team that should go further in the playoffs than they did last year. I think Jussi Jokinen is a great addition to the Edmonton Oilers. I'm 100% okay with this contract. Thumbs up.
Yeah, at this money, I am too. He's a bit of a defensive liability, but he's an offensive asset. And a little over $1 million for 1 year, that's doable.
I love the term, 1 year.
Yeah.
If it was 3 years, don't think I'd be okay with that. But 1 year, thumbs up, big time. All right, thank you guys very much for watching this video. Let us know down in the comments below what you think the best contract was that we mentioned, and what was the worst contract that we mentioned, and did we miss any? And of course we did. There is a few that we didn't mention, but we tried to keep this as short as possible. This video is going to be over 20 minutes, so I do apologize. But let us know down in the comments below. If you're new to Post, I hope you hit the subscribe button and join us here. And if you like the video, hit the like button. That definitely always helps as well. And we will see you in the future. Adios.